Yep. Yep. Alrighty. Bobo, it's the world's largest mod stream.
We're in the world's largest mod party, Drac. It's not just a stream. It's a whole get together.
It's a party?
It's a party.
Did you give me a Prezi for the party?
My friendship?
How about a decade-long friendship? The greatest gift of all. The real present was the friends we made along the way, my friend.
That's about right, especially with what we're talking about today, HvZ.
Look at that pinnacle of camaraderie building. Nothing helps you make friends in college or new experiences like, hey, fight a zombie apocalypse together.
There's even been marriages had over
there have been so many HvZ weddings. Oh my goodness. I feel kind of left out. I'm still waiting on my HvZ wedding.
One of these days.
Bobo, I've been waiting for an opportunity like this in front of so many of our friends and family.
Yes, absolutely.
To ask you, oh my God, would you make me the happiest runner boy? Would you go slow my taco?
That's the worst. I love it.
All right, excellent. Somebody says Drac is slightly loud and Bobo is slightly quiet. Well, welcome to real life.
We tried. We tried. If you want to try turn yourself down just a little bit, Drac, you know where those options are.
I can't. We're already set up. If I move anything on my screen, we're gonna get.
So I guess we're just going by ourselves.
No, excellent. So let's launch right into it. We can each. Obviously, as things come up in this mod party chat, I want to highlight and talk about the cool things that other people are working on. Right now, we have something really old up in here. It looks like a brass-breeched Alpha Trooper. I'm really hoping something cool comes up that we can talk about pretty soon. But in the meantime, I want to give you an opportunity to tell your all-time favorite HvZ story, and then I'll tell mine.
Does it count if I wasn't there?
No, I want a personal story, Bobo. Don't give me a legend.
This
something real.
It's the legend of the Turner massacre. It was.
All right, I will accept the Turner massacre story.
I'll give you the preface. It was so monumental in the year's game that not only did the group that made it happen apologize publicly in videos on Facebook, everyone just kind of threw them off to the side the next years afterwards. That's how big it was. So, personal stories, boring. Turner massacre
stories, though,
is like SCAD legend. So we're gonna start with the Turner massacre. So what you need to know in order to get an idea is SCAD's dorm rooms for the freshmen, sophomores, really basically everyone up until senior. I don't know what happens.
All right,
whatever.
I want to push pause here real quick on your story just to tell everybody, because most of the people in this chat have not played SCAD HvZ. So old school HvZ, golden age HvZ is usually a week-long game on a college campus.
Oh,
so
that is also important, yes.
That's day and night, constant play. You're only safe when you're in buildings or in class. Sometimes certain buildings are in play. And so SCAD has a reputation in our state that that Bobo and I are from, Georgia. SCAD has the best games. Back in the golden age of HvZ, they had the best games, I guess is the best way to put it. So they were so good, I would drive an hour and pretend to be a student. I would borrow a buddy's parking pass and pretend to be a SCAD student so that I could get a second week of HvZ in every semester. And Bobo was a SCAD student for part of that time. There was some overlap. We've been to a few different SCAD ones, but I just want to let people know that most HvZ is not invitational style. Old school HvZ is you wake up, you go to class, you try to make your tests, you go get lunch at some sort of cafeteria, and the entire time you're playing the game, you're avoiding the zombies, you're running through bushes. Like, I
Yes.
get
So-
flutters just thinking about it. But anyway, so what Bobo's describing is SCAD, which is top shelf golden age HvZ, and they have a pretty solid campus in downtown Savannah, Georgia. So anyway,
so
now that we've defined
I could go on about the golden age. Like, just look up some of the crazy stuff kids were doing at Goucher. Like, they would have emergency ladders going out their windows so they could climb up 2 stories. Crazy shit stuff like that. Try and keep it clean for the kids. So the way SCAD worked was you were always in play except for 12 midnight to about 5 a.m. is the time when nothing happened because everyone's asleep. Parking lots were open. Buildings were around the city. So certain areas were in, certain areas were out of play, whatever. What you need to know is that SCAD's, most of their dorm rooms down over by the highway, which is Dyson, Weston, and around Turner, and Tanex, which is Turner Annex, were motel style, meaning that they were old motels that they turned into dorm rooms. So huge parking lots out in the front, motel rooms for your dorm room, which is pretty awesome because everyone got their own showers, whatnot. However, Turner was different. Turner was this huge new construction of a building. It was 4 stories tall with 1 story in the basement, huge courtyard. It was basically a horseshoe of a building, 4 stories, 1 entrance into the main courtyard, 1 entrance into the back of the building that went under like a bridge sort of entranceway into the courtyard. So there's really only 2 ways into this place. The Turner massacre started when basically the zombies had started in Turner. Any dorm room that the zombies start in is usually the first one to get absolutely wiped out. It happens every year. When it starts in one place, you have people asking to stay in other places because they don't want to be there because people are just going to get turned left and right. On your way to class, oh no, you got your big art project with you? Well, too bad. You better either have a Maverick or you better learn how to run with that art project. So someone was stuck in Turner. Oh no, like the last person in Turner to be a human was in Turner. I don't remember their first name, but the last name was something like Cherry. We're going to call him Cherry. So Cherry Boy is stuck. What is he to do? Well, there was a group called Pantheon. Pantheon was the group that you would call to get help. You have a problem. Oh no, my big 3D art project is 50
This is the old version of Rescue Squad, which is Eddie and Michelle's big thing.
So, oh no, I have a 50-pound art project and I need help getting to my dorm room because clearly it's 50 pounds. I'm a small person, can't run. You call them up, you give them a time, they meet up, they escort you. You're in trouble, you call them, they come get you and out of the situation. Hopefully they're not doing something else.
They're the Captain Planet of SCAD HvZ. Got it.
Yes. Sherry is like, guys, I need help. I'm stuck. I need to get out of here. I'm going to move to my friend's place, but this place is swarming with zombies. Pantheon's like, well, we can't really do that because I forget the reason why, but he's like, no, wait, guys, I have information about the upcoming missions. Like what the zombies are going to be doing, what the humans are going to be doing. I figured it out somehow. I will give you that information if you come and rescue me. Pantheon was also an information group, which is just the best combination of things for the situation. So, of course, they get really interested in what Mr. Cherry has to say. So they devise a plan. The plan wasn't, hey, let's get a group of 10 people and go in. No. This was even better. Let's create an email and send it out to everyone to where it looks like an actual official SCAD HvZ email. We're going to create a mission meetup in Turner that says the person you need to get out of Turner is that Cherry guy on the 3rd floor. This isn't just a side mission. This is a actual mission. So, of course, about, 150 students get together. SCAD had huge games. 800 people was the biggest game I ever played there. It was massive. Like 100.
No, this is peak Walking Dead, like zombie apocalypse craze, everything like land.
Mm-hmm. Scad was really gung ho for the.
You say Scad's also like full of artsy types, obviously, and so they got really into their new LARP that they could play on campus.
A lot of them already LARPed. It was perfect. So the number that came up was huge. I'm gonna say 150 people because that sounds about like a Scad mission meetup. They go in. They get out. Except about 85 people get tagged. 85 people get tagged in Turner in this mission. When they get them out, they're like, all right, what do we win? They said, oh, yeah, by the way, he just has information about upcoming stuff. This wasn't an actual mission. People were pissed. Absolutely. And rightfully so.
I mean, this is a classic Golden Age HvZ story, though. When the rules haven't been fully hashed out, the mods aren't necessarily recognizable and trustworthy. People are using
mods were fine. This was the best. This was the 4-person mod squad that absolutely rolled the game to where it needed to be. After they had graduated, that's when Scad HvZ declined. I could go into this. But
I know. Trust me, I remember. I was there.
The moderators didn't really know what was going on. This was
of course they were confused.
They were like, wait, why are there so many people here? Oh, maybe they're trying to do something. They're trying to get one of the side. Who cares? When they found out, they were also really pissed. So what happened is 85 people died. And they all had to stay turned because they got taken out legitimately.
Because that's how it works.
That's how it works. There wasn't any, I got turned in a fake mission gone awry. It was like, too bad you win.
None of this Ohio nonsense where you can just cry really hard and play again.
So when the game was over, and I think humans lost.
real quick. Beret says, man, I wish the Stampede didn't ruin HvZ. That's a meme that we'll get back to. But when the Stampede came out, it was our first AEG. It was our first like real full auto thing in the Golden Age, and everybody thought
that happened with the Raider.
Everybody was like, "It's gonna break the game. It's
the Raiders gonna break the game. 6-round mags are gonna break the game." There's so many things that were just gonna break the game. So at the end of this HvZ, on the Facebook page, 4 videos went up. One from each of the head people of Pantheon. Literally crying, begging for everybody's forgiveness, giving their sides of the story. People were throwing other people under the bus. Like, I said we should do it, but they made me do it, and then we got too deep into this, and we had to keep. They're like, no.
We were too far in. There was no going back.
They're like, no. That person's absolutely lying. Like, this is what actually happened.
You mean a good old-fashioned he said, she said? Oh, yes, boy.
If there was angry reacts on Facebook, it would be all angry reacts. People were in the comments being like, F you.
Righteous Fondue is in the chat, and he says, Bobo, remember real HvZ?
Absolutely righteous.
We'll talk about real HvZ in a minute with my favorite Bobo story. My favorite Bobo story is not this obscure story about Scad HvZ that has nothing to do with Bobo. My favorite story about Bobo at HvZ is much more personal, and it involves bodily injuries, which is a hallmark of good HvZ.
And I will say I rode that bodily injury real well.
You did. So I'm gonna tell my favorite one.
They tried to make Pantheon 2.0 the next year, and everyone told them to F off, and they just dropped out of the game. That's the big ending.
All right, so I'm going to tell my favorite HvZ story real quick. Give you a second to slurp on that coffee. Is it coffee?
Yes.
Excellent. So I guess before I launch into it, same time period, this would be 2010, I think.
It was the first time Nam had gone to an HvZ. Because
I'm not talking about yet. My favorite story is personal. It's not the time you broke your arm.
Oh, yours. Never mind.
I'm telling my story, Bobo.
Fine,
it's 2010. It's my turn now. I let you go first so I could gather my thoughts and really draw the audience in to the ambiance.
You're better at storytelling than I am.
No, so do you remember Googe?
You have talked about him. I don't think I've ever.
Okay, so
you have gone on wild adventures with
him. Yeah, exactly. The wild adventures with the Googe. So this guy's Nerf name was the Googe. He insisted for the entirety of his Nerf career that we called him the Bad Badger. We never did that. Never once did we tell him that he could be the Bad Badger. We called him the Googe, which was a take on his last name, which was Googeman. So there are a lot of rumors about this guy, but all you need to know is that this dude used to do, like, in what can only be done in the Deep South, this guy used to do backyard street fighting for, like, money.
Oh, yeah. The
like,
CXW stuff.
Yeah, like the build your own arena sort of thing. He was in the military for 2 years. And there's no official story one way or the other. Some say that he was dishonorably discharged. Some people say that he just decided to leave. But all you need to know about the Googe is that the Googe was built. Like, the Googe was 250 pounds of just straight muscle. Like, he was the Rottweiler of human beings. This is a 30-year-old man who had nothing to do with Georgia Southern University and just came to GSU to play at HvZ games. And he ran the baddest squad around. It was called Spartan Squad. It was heavily Halo inspired. And this is the story of the time that the Googe yeeted me. So I've told you about the Googe's basic build, but I'm a relatively tall fellow. I'm currently the heaviest I've ever been. At the time of this story, I weigh about 112 pounds, which is important for the believability of this story. Yeah, I didn't have Bobo to feed me chocolate bars and make sure I got all my daily Uncrustables in. No, anyway, so I weigh next to nothing. Drac, could you look at the mod that I just posted in the Facebook group? I'll let Bobo pull it up in a second. We're still on.
We're getting there with story time first.
Yeah, but you do have to pull
with
this up,
old
Bobo. That's
men
half of
talking
our
about
job as
the
a host.
good old days of HvZ first. We're your grandpas right now. And
Exactly. We're the crotchety old man talking about how good we used to have it.
HvZ was better before Orange Modworks added drop-in kits.
That's true. It was back when you had to lube your darts with the
You
sweat
had to
from your own
work for
brow.
your mods. You had to want it.
You had to Sharpie label your darts so that you could get them back at the end because they cost
$6 pennies and a Maverick.
6 pennies and a Maverick.
Make it beyond 5 because I'm worth it.
Shoving 18 rounders in your back pocket because you wore trip
It
pants.
wasn't even 18.
And they were
It was 6. It was 3 6-mags duct taped together.
Yeah, it was. You mean a jungle mag? Back when you put your cannon power shot and duct taped it into your Raider drum, and that was the closest thing you had to POV, because what the hell are rail attachments?
One of these days, we're going to have a stream where Drac and I talk for hours about the old days. But
oh, it'd be gross. GoPros didn't used to exist, stream, is basically what we're... Yo, Spam, that's not a joke. You used to have to fight zombies on the way to class and on the way back from class, which, if you did it right, was uphill both ways.
Yes, SCAD does have...
We're in Georgia. There were so many hills. All right. I got to bring it back. So anyway, I immediately wanted to be on the baddest squad around, which was Spartan Squad. It took very little time for the Googe to realize that I was pretty fast and pretty scrawny and good at running, finding out where the objectives were, and then running back and telling us so that we could steal all the glory, because we're all tryhards. It's 2010. Everybody's going to make a name for themselves.
Everyone
eventually, your try-hard human players grow up and they become just good overall players. But everyone has to start bad.
From hunting zombies to zombies actually not wanting to be around you.
So all you have to know is that Georgia Southern, and if you played End War last year, you would know that there's a lake. And the lake is divided by a stone cement bridge that has kind of a 90-degree in it. So imagine a big rectangle with like a 90-degree going from the middle of two sides. Lake's not that deep. It's mostly swampy water. It's nasty, which our hero figures out pretty soon. So I'm the scout in Spartan Squad, and I figure out that there's an objective on the bridge, a very popular place to put objectives when your game map effectively has this wonderful waterlocked choke point. And so there are no rules. There's no, like, don't climb trees. There's no don't jump in the lake rules. But you'd have to be crazy to jump in this lake because it's nasty, nasty swamp water.
When there are no official rules about what not to climb, people are really going to take that as far as it can go.
Well, the problem, Bobo, is that this is back when the rules hadn't been fleshed out hardly at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if no one... The thing about HvZ is if someone doesn't ask the question, it doesn't exist.
It becomes a loophole. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's why the in-war rules document is like 12 pages long.
If HvZ players have I don't know if it's the best or the worst. They are the best or worst at finding loopholes to exploit.
No, it's just gamesmanship.
If you do not explicitly say, don't tag people on the stairs, and this happened, my friend, zombies will reach through the stairs to grab people by the ankles.
Oh, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, so anyway, I lead Spartan squad into this choke point. The mod there is like, all right, all you got to do is hold it for 10 minutes, and then you'll get the blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, great. Sure enough, these zombies discover that this is a flawless opportunity to take out the big bad squad. We're trapped on this little cement bridge, and there's like 300 zombies, and the other humans are not going to sweep in and help us. They're on the other side of the campus. They didn't get to this objective as quickly, and even if they could help us, we're Spartan squad. We should help ourselves, of course. So
your squad is the one that matters.
Exactly. So we're there, and the zombies are doing a very traditional HvZ zombie thing where they've lined up a good group of 100 on one side and 200 on one other side. Brains, 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 brains. Sean is trying to, the Googe is trying to come up with some sort of plan that gets us out of this, and I'm like trying to help him. I'm like, no, what we'll do is you have 2 mag strikes, and Pauly D has a long shot, and so Pauly D will start taking pot shot. No, there are 300 people coming for 8 of us. This is not ending any other way. So I'm explaining to the Googe my grand plan for like getting us all out of this alive, and I'm like, so that side is softer. Maybe we like pick that side, and we just push really hard into it and see if we can escape the objective. Still not happening. We're talking like this is my loadout at the time is a Spectre in my back pocket and 2 Mavericks.
Buddy, why?
So I've got a sock pocket too, Bobo. Like I'm a scout, man. This is why I don't play on
hurts. It hurts.
So I'm telling the Googe these things, and again, all you have to know is the Googe is jacked. I weigh 112 pounds. And I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna do, Googe. And he's like, it's very easy. You're gonna live. And I'm like, what? Like, and he picks me up. He puts one hand around like my knee, and the other hand on my upper arm like this. Before I know it, I'm horizontal. And he, no joke, shot puts me about. It felt like forever, but it was probably closer to like a dozen feet off the bridge and into the lake. And so in the span of like, it happened so fast. Like I was like, this is my plan. This is how we're going to get out of this. I believe in this team. We'll push really hard this way. There are only 100 of them. Maybe we can make it if you fan them out with a whoop, wee, splash. And the next thing I know, the zombies are celebrating how they've killed all of the Spartans. And I'm in a lake with 2 completely waterlogged Mavericks wearing a pair of trip pants that are now completely waterlogged. If you've ever tried to swim in like heavy denim and a tank top,
that water.
It's brutal. I'm amazed that I didn't take the pants off just because it was a nightmare.
Was this back in your trip pants days?
These are trip pants, yeah.
God, so there's like
Spectre
70 pounds of weight on your leg.
Dude, they must have weighed 15 pounds by the time they had chains on them, and they were heavy denim. And I'm tall, so it's a lot of material. So I end up doggy paddling effectively. Those Mavericks are still at the bottom of the lake. I lost the Mavericks. I had the Spectre in my back pocket. I swim, quote unquote. I doggy paddle the remaining 50 feet to the other side of the lake. The zombies are celebrating. We killed them all. We killed them all. I am nobody of consequence at this point in my HvZ career. So it's not like they did a head count and they're like, where's the scrawny dude with trip pants?
Back in the old days of Nerf when no one had cool, famous titles and stuff.
God, I miss it. I'd give everything back for one more Golden Age HvZ game where I could just be nobody. But anyway, so this leads to a game where I am legitimately, in the just most romantic fashion that you can possibly be, legitimately the last Spartan. And it was a huge problem. I hopped onto Facebook after this mission, and they're like, well, the humans got a 50-50 partial victory. They didn't get this objective, but they got some of the objectives. 60%'s not bad. And the zombies are like, well, at least we killed all of those Spartans. And then there's the Googe being like, there is one remaining. And so it led to like 4 days of me crawling through swamps, trying to avoid getting just aced completely. But that is my personal favorite HvZ story, is the time that I accidentally went airborne.
The Drac is, yes. Oh.
There we go. All right, so we're getting some new stuff up on the feed to talk to you guys about. So here's Gary Ashby, my 3 work in progresses, waiting on 400 to 1,000 grit sandpaper to finish up some body work. The Master Key, parentheses, Double Dragon, still needs the Chrono Barrel weird. I assume that's wired up, and then Katana Strife works. Well, congratulations on your Katana Strife. Looks hecka clean.
Yeah.
What do you think?
There's one thing that's bothering me, but it's so minuscule.
Don't you get nitpicky during this fun, friendly.
Magnus isn't level.
What isn't level?
The Magnus.
Oh, I'm talking about the Strife. The Strife looks clean.
No, the Strife is good. The Magnus. You know what?
Yeah.
That just gives it more range. That's
so, Bobo, did you ever watch Double Dragon when you were a kid?
No.
Jimmy and Billy Lee.
No, never saw it.
Really? You never saw Double Dragon? Man, that's going to be our Dragon Con cosplay this year. You and I are going to be the brothers from Double Dragon.
I'm going as the guy from Die Hard in the chair that says ho ho ho, and now I have a machine gun.
All right, but I got dibs on Billy.
I mean, you go as whatever you want.
Somebody else will do it with me. Oh man, dreams are dying today, chat.
We did the hard cosplay last year. I want a break. I want easy.
I'm actually supposed to do a full cross-dressed version of the Gundam pilots into Sailor Scouts from Gundam Wing, but I get to be Hiro Yui, so I'm about that action.
We are so far off topic.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so we talked about Double Dragon, a classic cartoon, truly incredible. And
I like the Demolisher. I don't know what it is, but the Demolisher is.
The Demolisher's just got a really smooth trigger pull and feel. It's essentially a Strife. It's pretty slick. Matthew Gilman up in chat talking about the Sailor Scouts. I'm hoping that you join us, Goku. But the Demolisher with just a foregrip integration looks clean. The Magnus Master Key actually looks quite good. Good job, man.
Yeah, everything looks good. I can't wait to see paint on it.
All right, here's Frankenzilla showing some.
Dwayne, all I have to say is, it's gonna look amazing.
You know it's good because it's old Frankenzilla. Check this out.
Amazing when it's done. That's all.
The motor cover looks incredible. That's some Aussie pride right there. It looks like a Jace 3D cover.
I'm not a fan of bullpups.
Is it a Rapid Strike or a Raven?
That is a Raven grip on a Rapid Strike body.
That's what it looks like. It looks like he's using the Raven to make it into a Rapid Strike. Is this his bad juju in progress?
I don't know. But I will say that the Rapid Strike with the Raven grip is one of the only bullpup integrations that I kind of like. I don't know what it is about it, but that Raven looks so good on the front with that angled.
No, this is
texture.
I mean, this is clean. It just looks really, really good. It's
gonna be clean. It's Dwayne Stanley, come on.
I know, but I mean, like, that's like saying that Mr. Nathan stuff looks good. It's not fair to take away points for how awesome this looks because we know that it's a guy who does really good work.
Let's find problem. Let's knock him down a few pegs.
I don't want to knock him down a few pegs. I'm here to lift him up. Well done.
If I'm not mistaken, this could be for a different build, but he did post a epoxy putty like skull thing that he.
Yeah, that was so. There's a bullpup in Destiny called the Bad Juju that has a Raven skull, and so assuming that that's what this is, I think it's going to look extra mega level sweet.
There's more stuff. Oh man, should we start at the bottom?
I thought about doing this for a YouTube video for the clickbait, but this is P-chan.
No, you have to wear the hoodie out in public.
No, I had to. Were you there for the SENC war where 2 kids showed up in the Ahego hoodie and pants?
No, I'm glad I didn't go.
I sent them back to their car to change, and they were like, "Man, I thought you were cool," and I'm like, "It's because I'm cool that you're changing." Like,
I think this is just a what is this? A strife with a retaliator barrel.
It's not just a strife with a retaliator barrel. Let's be abundantly clear
is
here.
there brushless on that?
Yeah, this is a slick
I have
build.
Very blurry pictures to look at.
I got going to do some much needed maintenance to my strife, the black wire on the battery tray, something or other. However, a year ago, I built it at 2 a.m. I accidentally cut it too short, so when I unplugged it, it always went into the back wire. I've never had any other issue with the strife, so this is one of my favorite builds up to date. It looks like he's just updating it. I usually call the cage in flywheel builds, they're like beating heart. And so I can only assume that since there's a second flywheel cage there, that this is what I would consider, in my workshop at least, I would call this a heart transplant. And since flywheels tend to get better and better every year, I can only assume that this is an upgrade of a serious variety, and you get major props for using an OG strife. Well done.
Spencer says I actually made P-Chan for a friend's birthday.
Okay, we weren't knocking on P-Chan, dude. Like we
I
get
like
it.
P-Chan.
It's a meme blaster, and we like it.
What in the world? Ben Howell with a GameCube controller.
This is Ben, creator of the Venturi and the Chimera.
Oh, there it is.
He's just goofballing it up here. He was like, "Can I fit an AT2K into a GameCube controller?" But the thing that's neat about this, and I only know this because I talk to Ben sometimes, is that the GameCube controller is still fully functional, and he built this so that when he's losing at Smash, he can shoot his friend with it as like a power-up distraction.
I like builds that keep the functionality stuff. There was a build I was going to do. I don't think I've ever talked about this. I was going to take a Raven and put a guitar neck onto it and somehow make it into a functioning guitar that I still kind of want to do.
Somebody did that at Endwar one year. They took a Guitar Hero.
No, actual guitar.
Oh, you want to do it with a real guitar?
And
you want to be like.
I was going to send it out to Rob Scallon if it ever.
You should be like Miguel in Road to El Dorado. I'll be your dashing Tulio. I'll grow out the mustache and everything.
Shout out to anyone who watches Rob Scallon because I love that channel. Let's hear it. This is the
old NIC statuses. Can I put a 2K in it? You're not wrong,
basically.
Righteous Fondue. You're not wrong. Okay, so this is called a Hush Puppy. It looks like we're just taking the new rival blaster and building a brass breech system into it. It's looking a little naked. Get your Hush Puppy some clothes.
I like it. You leave it naked. It's a naked dog.
We're not leaving.
Shout out to the varsity for that naked dog. Hey.
Shout out to the varsity for the naked dog. I'm all about that chili cheeseburger with an FO. Give me an FO with an FO. Fofo.
Oh. Ooh. Evan Williams coming in with Impulse. Let me see what the do I switch over?
Coming in hot with a classic.
There we go.
Classic Centurion sort of integration, I assume.
Is that a chaos with it's a chaos with a Centurion magwell in it.
Okay, there we are.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. You almost called it. You almost got it.
Well, I mean, all this plastic starts to blend together.
Wait for it. There we go.
Something about talking about Drac here. Oh, I guess like just to nip that in the bud. The tier system was never supposed to go public, and if it means anything to you, then
you did this, Drac.
I was gonna say you did it to yourself. Like
I'm gonna make a strife that's a -1 tier because
you make a -1 strife
is higher than 0, and therefore
if it's better than something you've done before, then it deserves a special rank and file. And if you need a way to collate the hundreds of builds that you've done, find your own internal system. I don't know, man.
I love it.
This is awesome. The paintwork is super clean. The metallics look really nice. Like,
it looks excellent. I love the muzzle. The muzzle is so.
Dude, I'm digging this LED strip that goes back and forth. Like, this is just tremendous.
Excellent job, and it's Evan Williams. He does good work. He's the guy that made the original Chaos pistol that I copied.
Oh, that you
I stole.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
-1 tier. That's Bobo only. Only Bobo can make -1 tiers.
Yeah, out of darts, -1 is more. So 0. If 0 is like the top of the top.
Yeah.
We're going from 3 is below 0 in terms of things. -1 would be above 0 in this.
All right, Luke just called -2. Only Luke can have -2. Bobo can have -1.
-69 is mine.
It only means what you want it to mean. And if you're the kind of person that lets somebody else's ranking system hurt your personal feelings, then you have bigger problems than your Nerf mods, my guy.
I think everyone's calling out their own negatives now. Oh gosh.
Ooh, Luke wants double aught, negative out of darts.
I'll allow it.
In my opinion, Luke is always positive out of darts. He's usually
I want to see negative Luke. I want to see him rage.
The negative Luke. I've seen a hint of it once, and it was a little scary. He busted out that dad mode, if you know what I'm talking about.
So we got an electric pump for the Titan tank in my Soldier 76 blaster.
I mean, that's hot. Like, that makes it much closer to the video game, which is the whole point of using a Soldier 76. It'll auto charge your undermounted shotgun. You can blow through your.
I think that is basically everything for right now.
Pandemonium says negative out of darts means that he now has plenty of darts.
There we go. I love it. So, do you want to tell another HvZ story or something about HvZ?
I think that you should tell the story of how you broke your arm, because I love that story.
I thought you were going to tell it.
No, you can tell the story of how you broke your arm, and then I'll tell the story about how you powered through it and played for 8 hours with a broken arm.
I mean, that's basically it. We were back in the old days.
Yeah, I feel like we need a filter for like back beyond the veil.
Back eons ago, when HvZ still carried valor, triumph, and what's another good word?
Back when you could like make a name for yourself.
And the magic of friendship.
The real HvZ was the friends we made along the way. If you keep talking like that, you're gonna lose your voice halfway into
it. That's how the Twilight Force does all their like ancient tech stuff in their albums. I love it.
I actually need somebody to carve the Yeet story into a rune, a tablet for my wall. Nobody do that, please.
So basically, one HvZ, we were going towards a safe zone because gotta go to safe zone sometimes. It's the end of a mission, going toward safe zone so we could rest, reload our stuff.
You gonna mention that you had Dennis with you?
Yes, I was about to. I was using. I have a beautiful picture that Cybern brought up the other day. It's this gorgeous picture. Not to the story, but that's how I remember what year it was. I had a yellow long shot with this PVC and polycarb pump grip that Nam had made. I wish I still had it because it's a great piece of hardware. This is back before.
Wait, you don't have a Nam pump grip anymore?
No, this is back before Worker. This is back before 3D printing. This is back before.
All right, so let's explain that really quick. Nam used to make long shot foregrips, and the only like way that he could do it was he was machine fastening to heat formed PVC, the same way that you'd like
take the PVC, bend it into a U, which had these little tabs that went into the slidey bits of the long shot.
The slidey bits.
You know what I'm talking about.
You've been doing this for how long, Bobo? You're gonna call priming bars slidey bits?
They're cocky things.
I put the slidey bits onto the cocky things, and then sometimes I pull the bang bang, and then it goes
exactly. So then 2 pieces of polycarb that were cut into this really nice kind of swoop, like an upside down Nike swoop was a template to cut it out, was then bolted into the bolt sled. And that was what it was, but it looked really good for something as simplistic as it
No, was. They were handmade bolt like attachments.
He says Bobo, don't steal my posters.
No, Dennis did really good homemade like accoutrement before anybody else was doing it.
The South was #1 at homemades back in the day.
We're still the #1. We have the best nerfers in the world. What are you talking about?
But do we still make homemades? That's beside the point.
Nobody makes homemades anymore. We just have the best homemades left.
They're all 3D printed, and that's why nerfing's not as good as it used to be.
No, we have real we still have them.
No, not as good. There's no
You wood. Throw yours away or something?
There's no wood in them. There's no wood. There's no.
What are you talking about? I still have one with bloodwood.
No, but you're not making them. That's the problem.
I never made a bloodwood homemade.
That's the problem.
Dennis made it.
Ruining Nerf.
Oh my god. No. Beret is ruining Nerf. He's in chat right now ruining Nerf. Come on.
He says slug. I hope chat just starts pointing fingers at who is.
Yo, they're all laughing about how we are denying 3D printing is the future, which it absolutely is.
No. The only 3D printing that's the future is when it starts making metal. And like sparks are flying, and the spark factories are going, and Terminators.
If it weren't for 3D printed blasters, we'd have half the nerfers active we do right now making.
Good. Things. Cut the fat. Leave.
Bobo, if you had to ask me which one of us was gonna say cut the fat before this started, I would not have guessed it would be you.
Cut the fat. I only want the good stuff. I want the true nerfers. I want it to go back to the way it was. Anyways,
oh my goodness.
So we're now time to hear this.
I want to be abundantly clear here. We're being very facetious about like how Golden Age nerf is the best nerf. Like we're both very happy that like there are more nerfers now and the hobby is growing. We're really excited.
If anyone had told me that we would not be looking for motors on eBay like every day and every week for new sources, I would be like, I don't believe you. If you said someone's going to have motors for sale,
dedicated hobby grade motors,
you're a liar. If you said there's going to be these machines that poop out plastic into blasters,
you really going to turn them into poop machines for blasters?
They're poop machines. They're
all right.
Poop machines.
So I got 5 poop machines downstairs, and then I got a dog who's also a poop machine upstairs. Technically, Jinx is just a 3D printer that's very inefficient and only makes one thing.
Taffy, I would love to see a poster of a 3D poop machine that makes blasters. I will commission you for that poster.
I would actually really like to have New Zealand field a team at the Foam Pro Tour. I think that they'd give them a real run for their money. Okay, broken arm.
So it wasn't broken arm, but we were going back to the safe zone. Zombies were coming up from behind a building. We could hear them because some zombies just love making noise. So we're like, crap, we gotta go. Do. So I'm walking like this, looking this way when I see something. So I turn, still moving this direction. Oh, surprise, there's a small speed bump right there. I trip over it.
Oh, it was a surprise.
Come flying down. And when I say all my weight, I legit mean all my weight landed on this elbow.
It's not a small amount of weight, Cat.
Still holding on to the pump grip. Easy elbow target. Bink bonk into the ground. That it hurt. Wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I got up. People were like, Bobo fell over. I was like, it happens. Whatever.
It happens. That's HvZ.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst thing I've heard. It's definitely one of the more funny things that I can think of. So, we go, whatever. I play on. This is my priming arm, mind you. So throughout the day, I'm like, man, this my elbow is very dull right now.
My elbow hurts running this heavy FPS long shot.
Oh, hey, there's another mission. Let's go do that. So I keep playing on it. And about 3:00 in the morning, I'm up with Nam, like doing, fixing stuff or whatever. I'm like, man,
the old dorm modding, eh?
So I say, man, my arm is really hurting. I don't think it's going to be better. I think we should want to come with me to the hospital? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we go. They're like, what's wrong? I was like, my arm really hurts. I fell on it. They're like, oh, okay, we're going to go get an x-ray. So they take an x-ray of it, and they're like, yeah, so you fractured your radial head. And there's this big splinter going into the radial head of my elbow. I'm like, is that bad? They're like, yeah, you're going to have to keep it immobile for 6 weeks. So can you?
Is that bad? You splintered your elbow. Is that bad?
So for 6 weeks, I had it in a sling, and it's been fine. It does make a nice little popping noise. I don't know if that's related to it, but
yes,
it does make a fun little
it didn't make this popping noise before. Then I shattered my elbow playing a role-playing game running with zombies.
I still consider myself not a part of the still a part of the no broken bones club, because a fracture is technically not breaking, and it was in the elbow.
Yeah, that's funny. I've also never broken any of my bones. We have that in common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know more people with shattered collarbones than I wish to think about.
Yeah, I have to.
Weird. So played on it for 8 hours. I feel like that's pretty cool. Some guy tried to call me out on it in the SCAD page like the next year, which I thought was funny. He's like, oh, at least you don't break my elbow. It's like, buddy, come on. Everyone gets an injury. I do have a story about also.
Beret says shattered elbows are better than shattered dreams, and that's the true HvZ spirit right there.
I do have a story about an HvZ game involving death darts. It's one of my favorite HvZ forum posts because it's so stupid, and it's one of those, you know how people like to try and find loopholes for stuff? If you would like to hear it, I can tell it, but I feel like you should.
I try and detract from death darts anytime they ever come up, so I don't know if we want to glorify them with our story.
Oh, there's no glory in this.
Okay,
absolutely,
we'll lay it on
no
us.
Glory. This is the story I tell people whenever someone mentions death darts. It's like, hey, you want to hear about death darts? Let me tell you. So
first off, I'm going to define death darts. For those of you that are not aware, death darts are like this stupid thing that YouTubers sometimes do, or shit posters on Instagram will do sometimes, where they'll put thumbtacks in darts and then shoot things that are not
only thumbtacks. I've seen needles.
Yeah, they'll put something sharp in the front of a dart, and then they'll use it to like either pop balloons for challenges or memes or whatever. But what they become very dangerous, and they promote our hobby in just the worst way possible. They're technically like a modification to our ammo, but they're really, really bad. We do not.
So I would say if someone is mentioning death darts, you can tell them the story. It was an HvZ forum post I will never forget. There was a game in Kentucky at a local park where, just humans versus zombies, park rules, that kind of stuff. And during it was later in the game, I think it was like sun had gone down, a little bit of light left. During one of the zombie rushes.
Had the moon come up?
I don't know. During one of the zombie rushes, this girl dropped to the ground screaming, like blood-curdling scream is I think the words that this person wrote. So they come up to check on her, and there's a dart. They said an inch below her eye. So about right here is where we can get it. So there's a dart sticking in her face. And they're like, someone's using death darts, because clearly that's the only thing. They go around checking blasters, and this kid with a long shot has a magazine full of the things. And they said, apparently they broke his blaster, like legit just snapped it in half, because why would
He's lucky they didn't snap him in half, man.
They broke it in half. They confiscated his stuff. And when they asked him why he would ever use it, he said, because the rules didn't say I couldn't. So think about that. It's one of those stories you never forget. So if anyone's
because the rules didn't say I couldn't.
Didn't say I couldn't. So when someone's trying to be a smart ass about the rules, you tell them not to think too hard.
Luke says, glad I was not there. Yeah.
Trying to think.
All right. Moving on.
It's just one of those things. It's like people are dumb.
I have a story about how when I was a tryhard, I accidentally ran through a raptor exhibit. Birds of prey, not dinosaurs. Jesus, I can see you thinking that it's like
I'm like, you ran through a raptor.
You're like Jurassic Park over here. No, it was like a birds of prey. What would you call it? Not like an apiary, a sanctuary. I don't know. I didn't see any of the birds of prey, which is why it was an accident.
Did you run through Georgia State's tick collection?
I don't think I've ever run through a
ticks collection.
I don't think I've run through a tent collection.
No, tick.
Oh, I mean, okay, so here's a fun one.
I didn't get to go see that.
No, so I've mentioned this like a few different times on like personal live streams, and I kind of alluded to it. Destroyer, I can only assume that the girl was okay. Was the girl okay?
Nothing posted about her going to the hospital. It's just very close.
It's just scary when it's that
also
close to home.
Good reason to wear iPro. You can use the story for death darts. You can use it for iPro. You can use it about finding loopholes and rules. It's great for everything.
It's a real catch-all. It's fun for the whole family.
It's wonderful. Yeah, you just bring that story up and tell people not to be dumbasses. That's all you gotta do.
All right. So I guess like as a quick kind of, and this is dangerous. I shouldn't tell this story because I'm going to make more HvZ players like me by telling it, and that's not a good thing. Like, you don't want to be 2010, 2011 Drac HvZ player. Like, that is I have to be a human. I have to be the fastest. I have to try the hardest. And I will
for fun, not for being.
Yeah, I'll climb storm drains and run through. Okay, so anyway, don't play like this. But this is the level of ridiculous we had back in the good old days.
The golden years.
The golden years have come and gone. So Georgia Southern effectively is just in a swamp.
I think everyone figured that out when we heard complaints of the humidity of the sun.
Yeah. So End Warriors know this because the humidity is really bad. But effectively, if your squad dies early on and you have to solo some of these missions, and I had to solo a lot of missions over the course of my HvZ at GSU career, you eventually have to find a way to transverse the campus that is not explicitly contingent upon like the main roads, the cobblestones, and the pathways. And so the quickest way to pop up and out of different places if you want to like avoid major zombie encounters because you're by yourself is to either wade through or run through the swamp or the woods, or there's one major sewer drain that cuts under a big aperture that's like 3 feet tall if you're willing to do that.
Never heard of anyone doing that except for you.
So I was willing to do pretty much all of these things, including like climb over fences and buildings and through things, as long as I was avoiding most human interaction. It was a good way to get around the outskirts or from different points to others. And so the one thing that they don't tell you about the swamp around Georgia Southern is that it's full of these tiny little leeches. And so I will never forget, it was like a 3-hour mission. I went through the swamp and then back through the swamp. And by the time I got back I was covered in mud. So I would do this thing where I wouldn't go to my dorm because my dorm would get camped by zombies. I would go to my girlfriend's apartment, which was just off of campus. And so I must have looked like the weirdest kid ever because I'd come back caked in mud, like with Nerf blasters in tow. And the first thing I'd do is I'd get onto her front porch and I would strip off all of my mud soaked clothes and I'd hang them on the rail so that they could dry off, and I'd crack it all off later. So I'd basically get almost completely naked on the front porch and then walk in. And so I'll never forget, after this one particular mention where I spent more time in water than not, I show up, I walk in, and I'm like, I need a shower so bad. And she's like, what's all over your body? And I'm like, victory. I don't know. Accomplishment. And she's like, no, like, what are all those? And it turns out that these guys had just been feasting for like the last 2 hours. So instead of being these tiny, like, size of your nail leeches, they were up to like the size of maybe like a couple joints on your finger. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And I'm lucky I didn't get any diseases. And once you pull them off, they're really not that damaging. But I'm sitting there in the shower, like with all these little ringlets on me, just being like, this is the worst day ever.
And so an old medieval doctor on yourself.
And Than's he's ruined my punchline, which is that that's where all of the memes about I'm the only bloodsucker allowed on this squad come from, because I really got some of my own medicine that round. I also lost a perfectly good pair of sneakers doing exactly the same thing. Once they just went down too far into a sinkhole, and the only way to get my leg out was without the sneaker. And you're not about, if it's already 4 feet into the mud, no one is gonna throw their arm down there and be like, I'm getting it, I'll come back for you. So that was
a whole shoe's worth of leeches on your hand.
Yeah, so I ran around one mission with no shoes. And then the story that got me into this is that it was a nighttime mission. It was an Easter egg mission where you had to like find things, but it was late enough in the game that there were very few humans, and I was playing on a squad with like 2 other guys. There were 2 guys left in the Spartan squad, and we were being chased by only about 20 zombies, but we couldn't deal with all of them. This isn't like now where you could just alpha trooper them all down or what have you.
Back in the old days.
Yeah, exactly. We're still playing H+2, which is the amount of zombies you can reasonably encounter is humans plus 2. So we could handle 5 and we had 20. That's an old Humans versus Zombies guide forum reference, the H+2. But so we wind up at like this 12-foot fence thing, and I weigh very little at this point in my life, and my companions are of huskier builds. And so the zombies are basically like, haha, we got you. And I don't know what's on the other side of this fence. I know nothing about this fence, but all I know is at this point in my life, HvZ is real. and it matters more to me than anything else in the world. So screw our country. I'm going to live. So I throw the sling, and I go into the corner and I run up and jump and grab the fence and then drop it onto the other side. And I remember noticing, like, after the fact, not in the moment. In the moment, it's blinders on, red vision, got to run away from these zombies. But I remember being like, it's weird that there's so many nets in here. Like, irrelevant. Just keep going. And so I run all the way through this thing. It maybe takes 60 seconds. I get to another very similar fence. Same thing, up and over and out. And I never think anything about it until, again, our game was organized on Facebook. I get home, I drop off like a couple of objective things. I figured that we're not going to accomplish the entire mission in the last 20 minutes. And so I start jogging home. And when I get home, I fire up my girlfriend's laptop and I'm like, okay, like, how did we do? There were 10 objective pieces. I dropped off 2. Did we get enough for a human victory? What are our perks? What are our consequences? And it's nothing to do with the mission. It's just like, can you believe that that one guy, me, ran through the raptor sanctuary? What are the consequences for this behavior? And I'm just like, oh, I'm that guy. Gosh, I hope there are no consequences for this behavior. I had no idea, but my 2 teammates were just like, the moderators come up after my teammates are dead, and they're like, so where's the other guy? And they're like, oh, he went over the fence. And they're like, well, where is he now? And they're like, we don't know, man. Like, he went over the fence. He wears all black and runs through the swamp and drains and stuff. He could be anywhere. Like, and they're like, well, that's the raptor sanctuary, and we're not allowed to play in there. And they're like, great. The time to tell him that was 30 minutes ago. Like,
it went out of play. That's a no.
And so they sold me out for a good boy pat from the moderators. No, it was terrible. I ended up not getting zombified, and they changed a rule in like the briefings to be, these are the specific out of play areas. You cannot go here. You have to look at this thing for like 10 seconds of silence and memorize it.
Yeah,
And
that's one of the important things that is, I guess now it's very popular, but back in the day it was kind of one of those things you had to ask about. But the out of plays are very, very serious.
no, it's so the one big takeaway from some of these stories is that a lot of these things that Bobo and I are talking about, like him playing on for 8 hours with a shattered elbow, or me jumping a 12-foot fence into a raptor sanctuary, like these are the kind of things that can't happen now because they happened then. So
you can shatter your elbow all you want.
Yeah, HvZ. No, I'm saying you couldn't play for 8 hours that way. Like if you shattered your elbow at End War, I'm going to check it out, or one of my medics is going to check it out, and we're going to remove you from play. Like that's what happened to Walcom when he
oh, that's right.
At End War. Is I saw his knee going, and the second that it buckled, I was like, all right, your day is over. And like that's the kind of thing that in like 2011, he could have very easily been like, sawed off, man, I'm going to keep playing. Now we're better about stuff like that. And so
I had the knee thing happen. It's not fun.
HvZ is safer. It's better moderated. The rules are more comprehensive because a lot of these clubs started communicating with one another. And ultimately, while it might not make for as great a story and it might not be as fun, HvZ is better for it, I think.
I've added in the world's largest. This is a fun way of saying if you want to see some old HvZ, because I like promoting this. If you want to see some old HvZ, specifically SCAD's first year, I added my friend Neil's mini documentary covering SCAD's first game.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's worth a watch.
Z-Day. It's like, I forget, I think it's 9 episodes. They're like, it's 30 minutes each or something like that. You get to see me as a freshman. And then I also added some of his SCAD HvZ commercials that he made.
We call that Little Bobo.
Yeah. These are some of my favorite things he's ever made. Dead Menace, Bending the Rules, Night Dog, and the prologue in Chapter 1. So
all right. Well, Neil plug aside, they can check that out later. It looks like we have a few more things in our world's largest mod party window here to talk about This looks like a battery tray attached to a rapid strike attached.
Oh no, it's new.
Long shot.
We're gonna see more.
We're talking about something else.
Oh wow,
All right.
there's a lot more new stuff.
We're gonna catch up to it. It's all
There we
good.
go.
See you later, Taffy.
My newest build. It's a rapid strike, a miniaturized rapid strike going into a long shot grip, and back with the battery side box. That's a big old
Bobo,
box
this is your bread and butter, man. This is a weird rapid strike integration.
I think it's gonna look fine. I think it needs something on the back to kind of spruce it up a bit. But
yeah,
overall,
I would integrate some sort of stock or just put the long shot stock on there after the fact with like a stock block for a magazine storage built in. But like
a flat top would do really well on this.
Flat top would look sick. Now, if this is where you want it to be, if this is your layout and you're happy with it, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think it looks good. It's a good integration, time tested.
Michael Lasik in the Discord under stream text chat. You guys want to see those videos? Let's see who's next. We've seen that. Doing a rewire, adding the worker black flywheels and LiPo battery.
Oh, I can't read that. Whatever it is, it's gotta give me a second.
Small and cramped.
Doing a reworker, adding the old something or other. This is an interesting switch placement.
It's just a hurricane with the switch placement.
There you go.
Yep, cramped as all get out, but hey, if it works.
I mean, that's how the hurricane is. It's super cramped. Try putting a dual stage in there, then it's even more cramped.
We have stock extension. Ooh, Caliburn. Caliburns have gotten so nice. Everyone's just.
I think Caliburns were always very elegant in their design, just because I like the romance of a full length K26 pump action Springer. This one looks good. That's also my favorite thumb hole piece.
For the for the Caliburn.
Yeah. The one that was on that build. This Stampede, I can't tell explicitly what you've done to the Stampede other than a Vulcan integration and a paint job. It looks good.
Oh, I see the Vulcan bit now. Yeah, I love one of my favorite paint styles is gradients. If you can do a really well done gradient, I automatically love it.
I like that he named it. Not enough people name their builds. This is effectively art. You guys should name your blasters more often. For the longest time, like that's probably the first thing that people started hating on my channel for. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like one of those things people go out of their way to do. I feel like
way back in the day, people used to hate that I named my stuff, and it really hurt my feelings. Now I don't care anymore, like at all, because everybody names their stuff. But name your blasters. You worked hard on them. Don't ask other people to name your blasters, though.
I have I'm coming out with the video soon. I have the script. Just gotta
wait. Ryan Cho is brilliant. What was that he was working on?
It was just a little cam blaster.
It looked pretty interesting. And then up here we have Andy Works doing just a huge.
Yeah, I'll go back to that.
Huge integration. Yeah, this is the cam doesn't get enough love, I don't think. I think that it's a bidet. So he doesn't need that.
Oh, you are
no
behind,
toilet
sir,
paper.
But so I'm working on doing another 5 things I wish modders would stop doing, and one of them is asking other people for names. That's one.
Yeah, I mean that defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah, little sneak peek. Yeah, I feel like it takes away part of the creativity and the story of your blaster for something that
the name should come to you.
And also, it's fine if you don't name it. If you just want to call it a chaos pistol, because it's a pistolized chaos, still sounds cool. Just go with that. Or a stamp fly or a fly peed or whatever you want to call it.
The traditional nomenclature of just smashing the names together. Yeah.
Andy Works Surf Mods, this thing looks incredibly.
Yeah, this looks like a sci-fi prop. This is the kind of thing that like a pilot on the Sci-Fi Channel would use.
There's a hyperfire. There is
the villain weapon.
I don't know what that grip is on the bottom. It's either the
Pyragon. It's actually the Caliburn version of a Pyragon foregrip, a Pyrangle, but it looks good. I think the Hyperfire is the core of this guy, and then it's got a Stampede shield and a long shot stock. It looks solid.
It has a Nyx cage, Drac, so it's already your favorite.
I mean, the Nyx cage is an elegant platform.
That Bobo Rev trigger is an even more elegant platform.
Is it both? Ooh, Bobo, he's flattering us. Let's just take another 5 minutes to appreciate old Carl Wallace here. 2 legends in one blaster. I actually really like how he's painted his stock, though.
It's one of those things I'll never get over. Is someone liked my trigger enough to 3D print it.
He did it's become iconic, man.
I thought it's like cool. Thanks.
Like that's probably it's one of your biggest claims to fame is that you fixed the rev trigger.
Gonna do.
You don't get to pick those either. Like you never know what you're gonna be known for, but in your case, it's a better way to rev.
Drac's known for being an idiot.
Oh, for sure. You know, I was just about to talk somebody in chat down and be like, Bobo makes lots of videos and it hurts his feelings when you say that he doesn't, but now you've hurt my feelings. And no, but both of those things are true. I am an idiot and Bobo makes videos. If you've seen my Red 9 mod, here is a few pictures of the internals. The parts came together so easy. This looks like...
What is that base blaster?
It looks like it's one of the Alpha Strike blasters, and they've slammed a... I don't know what it is, man.
Are they painted all green?
I think it's an Alpha Strike blaster, and they shoved a...
Oh, hold on. I think I saw this earlier.
Oh, this is HvZ. It's a katana magwell and some sort of breach in it. I don't know, man.
Funblast said, dude, Bobo, people print them and sell them on eBay. We just sent takedowns to 2 eBay vendors in the last couple of months. My stuff is being taken down.
Your stuff is so popular, it's being stolen and redistributed.
I'm all for... Oh, I'm interested in this. What is that top blaster?
It's hot, man.
That's Alpha Hawk with
I think so. Then you've got the Rebel pistol underneath it, and then the Rebel...
I love that bottom one.
The Rapid Red integration?
Yeah, the
Sledgefire stock?
It's the Sledgefire and Guardian stock put together, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh. It's hot. Shout out Aaron Oakley. Well done, man.
I want to see everything with paint. You got to paint them. I want to see them.
Bernard says that's the Raptor Strike.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not up to date with all the new stuff.
All the hip stuff.
There's too many names coming out, man. Too many dumb names. The Raptor Strike and the Alpha Hawk and the Chicken Shooter.
I just posted a bunch of pictures, Bobo and Drac. Refresh Facebook. All right, well, we'll find Fallon in a second here.
Nah, not seen it yet. Let's hear any more HvZ stories of wonder and or woe or both or hold on. What is something about HvZ you wish people would stop doing? That's a good one.
Whether it something about HvZ that I wish people would stop doing.
Whether it's a rule or a thing that squads do. Like, what's your number one pet peeve with HvZ? I guess is the best way to put it.
So, like, you have to clarify for me, I guess. Is it a game that I'm playing, or are we talking about like a game I'm moderating, like End War?
Why not one of each?
Okay, so at End War, the thing that I wish people would stop doing more than anything
is
a good
one, Havoc. That's not calling their hits is Havoc's. That's a really good one.
I mean, that's good, but I don't know what we're gonna do about that. It's always kind of been an honor system, sort of. The thing that I wish people would stop doing at End War is like, how do I put this? Putting their personal experience above the experience of everybody else. And this is either like the zombie that wants everybody to do their plan and is comfortable screaming at other people to get their voice heard. This is the human that shows up with their blaster that shoots 138 FPS and then tries to justify based on like how much their plane ticket costs, why I should let them be special. This is the person who gets into like a dispute and wants to pause a game with like 1,000 people at it because they feel like they didn't have enough time being human or whatever. Like, I think that in general, if most people adopted the attitude that I think that eventually all veteran HvZ players get to, which is that we're all going to have more fun if our personal goal is to have fun. Like,
that is along the same lines as mine. Mine is just a little differently worded.
Gotcha.
Stop taking things so seriously.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
People who go way too hardcore for a game that's about having fun, and nerfing is just having fun. When you go too hardcore with it, I think and there's a difference between hardcore in the sense of like someone in a ghillie suit out in the woods, which I've heard about before, like a zombie laying in a ghillie suit for like hours waiting for a group of humans to go by. That's a type of hardcore I'm all for.
No, that's
ladders
cool.
going out the windows.
Wait, Bobo, how do you feel about people hiding under cars?
No, absolutely not. That's dangerous. Anything involving.
What if it's your car?
No. If you're in the car or you're under the car. Oh, you're talking about that. That was no. I thought you meant like under a car.
The way that you interpreted it was correct. You shouldn't be hiding under cars. But I did once.
Yeah, I know. That was
once upon a time I hid under Bobo's car and got him and Jay. It's pretty good.
You didn't hide. You ran.
I ran.
I was so pissed off, but eventually I just said F it and I went with it.
Which is good. Which is the right attitude.
I will say, I did misinterpret the rule for the car stuff. So pay attention to your rules and ask questions if you have any sort of questions about it.
And then I guess to finish that one, when I'm a player, I think my biggest frustration is because recently I've already I've had my day in the sun as a human. I had it a decade ago. So I've really enjoyed making some serious zombie memories at events recently. And so my biggest pet peeve as a player is when, and I'm not talking about some people just can't run. Some people get tired. I understand all of that. I'm talking about the zombie player. Yeah, like Bobo. Zombies who won't play the game, I guess. And this is twofold. Humans who get tagged and then decide to stop playing completely are the worst HvZ players, period. They don't deserve the game.
Someone said zombies half-assing it.
And then
playing zombie half-heartedly.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that there's a second version of that. There's the person who quits all the way and they're blatantly terrible because they're not playing HvZ. They just wanted to shoot people who didn't have Nerf blasters with Nerf blasters. Those are my least favorite players, period. But then there's a diet version of that really irritates me, where the human will sulk for an hour and then play zombie. They won't play zombie. They'll walk around with the horde, but they won't participate in rushes. They won't they just talk to a buddy and distract somebody else. And it's a little disheartening when I'm trying to play a very not serious, but a very enthusiastic zombie. And I know that not everybody wants to run 20 miles an hour into a power slide down a hill, but it really bugs me when I look behind me after a rush that the zombies have agreed on, and there's 20 people hanging out 40 feet away being good job.
I am one of those people that will lose their voice after a game because I'm screaming at people to charge at an opportune time. Look, I will walk as a zombie, but I will let you know what is happening as that walking zombie. Someone just shout out communications. The boomer's going off. Here's the countdown. You run. Hey, humans over this way. Go after them. Let's push out this way. Let's go. Someone has to do the screaming to keep everyone in the know. If you're working on in the know, I feel like you're doing a job.
There you go. It's just, if you're gonna play the game, I guess is how I feel about HvZ.
What is your favorite part of HvZ? Let's go to positive vibes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so I don't want to get cheesy about it, but legitimately.
Cheesy.
Okay. All right. You ready? There was a point in my life. I mean, there's still a point. I'm still at this point in my life where all of my closest.
It's the Leaning Tower of Jesus.
Hey. No, there's okay, first off, real quick, Talon, this is not the time, man. Hit up one of my personal things or leave a comment on that video. It's cool, but now's not the time. My favorite thing about HvZ is that in my life, 95% of the best people in my life, my closest friends, the people that I trust and care about and share my joys and sorrows with, are quote unquote Nerf friends, or people that I've met through the hobby, or people that I've met playing HvZ, or people that I travel with. And none of that would have happened if it weren't for a stupid zombie LARP game that made me all of my college buddies. Humans versus Zombies has given me so much more than it ever owed me or had any right to. It has led to my profession. It has given me my best friends. It's given me a few really good relationships over the years. Like HvZ, the real HvZ was the
golden
friend
era
along the way.
HvZ.
So that's what I really love about HvZ. That's what I really love about the hobby. But my favorite thing about HvZ is that it's an incredible way to get people into nerfing for whatever reason, and I think that it sparks joy in all who play it. What about you? What's your favorite part?
I like it when I shoot someone in the ding dong.
Well, that's the stream, boys. Thanks so much for watching. I
had to take your really nice thing and drop it.
What about the wonderful women of Nerf? Never mind. They're immune to your joy.
I was gonna pick like a one sort of thing. I think I could say the exact same thing as you. I think the thing that hits me personally about it is it's more creative than people think it is. And as someone who uses this hobby as their creativity outlet, which I don't have a lot of, I used to love drawing. I used to love doodling. That's all dead to me because of art school. This is like the one creative outlet I have, and it's this multiple hydra of creativity. You can integrate things into others. You paint jobs. How do you want to make your thing unique? And with all these different people from all of these different backgrounds, with all these different ideas floating through their head, the amount of creativity that comes into this hobby is what kind of drives me and keeps me from like.
I mean, how many other hobbies have professional artists, formally educated engineers, computer programmers, CAD designers, like parents, children, artists, musicians, video designers, like et cetera, and so forth? There's no one way to enjoy this hobby, and as such, we wind up with a lot of really incredible people.
Just scrolling through the few posts we have in the world's largest mod party, there has been different takes on things. Like a rapid strike is a rapid strike.
4 different approaches.
Yeah, a rapid strike is a rapid strike. But you can cut that thing up into so many different ways, throw something onto it, put it onto something else, shove it inside a thing, turducken the crap out of it. And make it into this one thing that no one else has done. It might have like the same things on the inside, but the outside could be completely yours.
I mean, they're just like
other people will see that and they'll be inspired to make their own because they like it so much. And it's like the one thing that keeps my creativity alive and me like,
I mean, so now's a pretty good point in this to mention that like you and I have both been doing this forever. We're not quite the oldest generation of Nerf, but we're the second oldest generation of Nerf. And
who's older? Is Bobo Bob like the grandpa of Nerf?
So again, people hate my tier system, but my internal way of measuring Nerfers breaks down by years and vectors. And so like the generation before us is like Slug and Bobo Bob, like the pre-HvZ generation, and then we're Golden Age HvZ. So we're getting pretty old. I guess what I'm getting at though is that we wouldn't still be doing this if it wasn't an incredible hobby that stimulates in a lot of different ways. So pretty cool.
Your outdoor people doing the running around and throwing socks at people. You got
exactly.
The slow boys going to eat tacos as a first mission.
The go slow tacos.
You got really, you can play it any way you want, which is what I like about it as well. You like accuracy through volume.
Yeah, we have nothing but love and respect for Bobo Bob, Than.
Bobo Bob is full of knowledge and has a
so that's a fun fact. People right now are trying to talk about how old they are, and like I'm not talking about your physical mortal age. Your Nerf generation is determined by your experience. Blood in, blood out.
I will say Righteous Fondue is also one of the oldest people I know.
Yeah. Fondue's right up there with us. Shout out to him in chat.
People you've never heard of who've been in this hobby for a long, long time. And yeah, this hobby's been going on forever. I don't know. I love this thing. But Bob is mega old.
He's not young, I don't think, but he's pretty
dog in the stream.
Yeah, she wanted to say goodbye to everybody.
Aww.
Because we are coming up on.
We got 7 minutes.
Yeah, we got 6 minutes. So
questions from chat.
I was gonna say we'll take a few questions until we run out. Run out the clock.
We really should do like a 5-hour stream talking about the golden age.
We could do a longer stream later on, but right now this was our hour and a half, our power hour and a half, and we were thrilled to share it with you guys. Nerf age is determined by how many glue domes you have been hit by. In that case, I'm the oldest nerfer still nerfing. I get shot a lot.
Yeah, there's the age of glue domes is gone, which makes me very sad because
How many fishing weights have you been tagged out by? If you lost all your blasters, what would you rebuild? What would you build first, Bobo?
I think I would build a really nice long shot build. Something, I don't know, something about the long shot is one of those things that I'm always like, I got to do another one in the future.
If I lost all of my Nerf blasters, as much as I want to say that I'd build a crossbow, I would call up Nerfomania and tell them that I need a new Excalibur. If I lost literally everything, the first thing I'd do is be like, Nom, I need a new primary. Because honestly, like, and this point comes up for debate every once in a while, but like, Nom is the finest homemade builder our hobby has ever seen.
Still is.
Those
builds are iconic for a reason.
Yeah, like, he's made more legendary blasters than any other person. And the fact that he's been soft retired for years and everybody still knows who he is a serious business.
Do you think HvZ is better simplified as just fighting zombies and hunting, or more missions better?
They both have their romance. I think that for invitationals, missions are essential. But I really liked basic HvZ back when it was just you're humans, they're zombies, survive.
Scad's always had the story behind it, which were also mission-based. I think the first one was the president of SCAD and Paula Deen had teamed up to make everyone a zombie.
That one's good because there's a Paula Deen restaurant in Savannah, which most people wouldn't know.
I've seen the lines. It's horrifying. But yeah, I think having a good story and missions that are also good with the story.
Yeah, thematic missions are pretty good. We've done a pretty good job of that with End War. Last year was a little light. One of the best complaints that I got. I mean, you get terrible complaints sometimes in feedback, but one really good piece of feedback from last year is somebody said, this feels like a really well-designed HvZ with Harry Potter like sprinkled on top. And we really took that to heart, and we've built our theme into End War this year in a much more integral fashion.
This is the most important question, I think.
Okay.
What blaster changed HvZ the most? Because we mentioned in the beginning how there was always the complaints as the Raider with its slam fire and 35-round drum is going to.
Okay, so I mean, there's a correct answer to this, and I want to know if you're going to get it because there is a mathematically correct answer. What's your call?
What blaster changed the game the most?
You think Bobo's smart enough to answer this, right?
Huh? I think the Strife might have done it.
It was the Raider.
No, the Raider didn't change anything.
It was the Raider. It was the Raider with its drum, the ability to shoot 35 darts without reloading.
That didn't change anything. The only thing that changed was how zombies attack the humans.
It was the Raider, man.
I don't agree with it.
The Raider changed my game personally. The Raider took me from just a scout to a dude who could. I mean, it was huge.
No, Strifes. Flywheels took the game to the next level.
I still use springers for HvZ.
The Raider, I would never seen a Raider make a crescent moon of zombies open a pathway for humans like a really low.
Yo, you've never played with a proper. Let me show you. I'll learn you sometime. Somebody says Jupiter with proton pack. Absolutely not. Doesn't do anything that other rival blasters don't do.
Except accuracy through volume. You can
Nemesis. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna go with we could have a whole debate about this.
All right. Well, we probably have time for a couple more questions before we have to let it go, guys. Lay a few more good ones on us. Beret's trolling.
Is he? No, you know what? I also agree the Ultra One is going to change HvZ more than we think, because that 120-foot range is bringing back the old feeling of blowgunners, but with the flywheel.
What are we going to do with this clown?
That we've known.
What are we going to do with him? He's just clowning. He's so silly.
It takes that garbage platform that some blasters have and takes it to a whole. It's like
favorite type of sock rolling.
Sushi. You take one sock,
sushi is best.
Roll it, and then you roll it into another sock, and you create.
Oh no, we disagree. I like donut.
Oh, I was gonna say the donut's another good one. That's how.
Donut over sushi. We've already talked about best and worst. Opinions on non-traditional HvZ like RAG or WVZ.
For the people.
I mean, RAG tends to work really well, even though it's HvZ. And
HvZ is my favorite format.
I don't think WVZ. I don't know anything about WVZ. Like, that's the most polite way we can put that. I'm sure they're doing their best. So somebody a while ago asked for an End War sneak peek, something along that line. All I have to say about that, and I'm preparing a formal post about this, is that theoretically, according to Pennsylvania State University, we are still clear for launch. And so clear for launch chosen in the spirit of there's going to be a spaceship, there's going to be a crew, like there's going to be a crash. You guys are in for a real treat. We're really looking forward to it.
God.
Worst HvZ nerf injury you've had or seen? I know Bobo broke an arm once.
Razor wire to the face.
I think that the leeches are probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But I set a dude's fractured leg once, like a compound fractured leg. I was the first responder for that, and we had to set it, and we used 18 sticks and an Alpha Trooper to set that fracture while we waited on EMTs to arrive. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, all right. Well, I think we are at 11:31 Eastern time, which means our time is up. But one of these days, we're gonna get together and we're gonna have a big fireside chat.
Proper fireside chat with whiskey.
Drac, where can they find you?
Oh,
what platforms?
I nerf sometimes. Instead, I would much rather. I'll use my plug for old Bobololo. He's on the YouTubes as I am Bobololo, and he's in desperate need of a few more sweet subscribers. Go hit him up.
Patreon.com/Bobololo.
He's also got a Patreon, patreon.com/Bobololo. You get some sweet loot. He's also he's a tremendous friend. He's been with me every step of the way, and I couldn't ask for a better friend. So he's a really good dude. You should hit him up on the internets. I am Bobololo, and then /Bobololo or what have you. He's got a Patreon. He's got a YouTube. He has an Instagram, and sometimes he live streams. So hit him up.
Tomorrow, the Sunday Funday live stream is tomorrow.
Sunday Funday live stream tomorrow. So Bobo's gonna dab us out, and then we're gonna end it.
Thanks for having us on the world's largest mod party.